anyways, Ashley Collins, aka The Onto Dragons, welcome to my YouTube channel, The Breakup Diaries. So this is something that I thought I had talked about before, but apparently I hadn't because I looked at my search history and nothing had popped up. But I think I've gone on a couple of lives before, which I hadn't have saved prior talking about this. So let's just get this out the way. I want to talk about my history of chronic UTIs. This was something that was occurring for 3 years. So when I went to college, I was aware of like what a UTI was. But I knew that it was curable. You know, like it was easy. It was an easy fix. Go to the doctor. They give you antibiotics. Easy. You know what I'm saying? Also, when I went to college, they told me don't sit on toilet seats. But this is something that I still implement now, where I don't. I hover when I'm using public restrooms. I swear. Either that or I put the liner on there. But like I put a lot of liners on there. And then what else do I do? Oh my god. I also this is TMI, but also talking about UTIs is kind of TMI. I don't know. So I I pee in public, but I like to say that it's a Florida thing. You know what I'm saying? Like when you go to parades or like an outside like gathering, like you don't have time to find the local restaurant or a convenience store, you pee outside. And I bet someone who's from Florida is watching this right now. They're like, I don't do that. Yo, I'm trash. But okay, so when I met my boyfriend, who's the reason why I even started this YouTube channel 5 years ago, God, I don't know. A couple of months into the relationship, I got a UTI. And I was like, okay, cool, easy fix. I'll just go to the doctor, get antibiotics, whatever. It never went away. It turned into, even when I was done with the 7-day antibiotics, it would come back. And even if there was no symptoms, after we would have sex, it was immediately pain. First of all, what is a UTI? A UTI is a urinary tract infection. That means that there's extra bacterial in your urinary tract, and your body doesn't know how to heal it by itself. So, yeah, it was constantly back to back. The symptoms, God, fucking, I still remember the feeling of always being tired, lower back pain, pain in my pelvis, having blood in my urine, and it was like that for like 6 months, back to back to back, like me taking antibiotics, and yeah, so finally the doctor that I went to, they were like, okay, so we might suspect that it might be an STD, so we're gonna give you a shot and some medicine, and then we'll let you know of what the STD results are. So I remember I went to the mall with my friend after I had the shot and the pill, and I remember throwing up, and I was like, fuck, is this an STD? A couple of days later, they called me and they said it wasn't that. I was like, okay, cool, thank God, but what the fuck is wrong with me? Like, why is my body still having UTI symptoms? So they finally sent me to a urologist, and I remember just being like, fuck, am I dying? You know, because sometimes untreated UTIs can be results of, you might get sepsis, or you might have kidney failure. And I was like, fuck, like, I know that I drink, but I don't think I drink that much, you know? Like, it's nice to laugh about it now, but at the moment it was like very terrifying. So I went to the urologist for like, I think like 6 months. And mind you, like throughout this time, I'm still dating my boyfriend at the time. So in my mind, I'm like, he's not going to want to date me if we can't have sex. So I'm trying to like find ways to keep him to stay, which is so stupid. I remember one time I was at the doctor's office. My urologist himself, he was a male. I obviously said he. And the nurse was a female. And I remember I started crying because they were like, you need to abstain from sex. And she was like, do you not feel comfortable talking to the doctor? I was like, I don't want to talk to him. Like, I want to talk to you. And I'm like, what do I tell my boyfriend? Because like, if we can't have sex, he's not going to want to stay. And she said to me, if he only wants you for sex, then you need to leave. And I remember being like, fuck, we need to have this conversation. But my boyfriend at the time was like, yeah, cool. which is okay because like all he did was play video games all day anyway. But so yeah, so I went to see the urologist. I believe once every 2 weeks, which the bill is already starting to rack up, you know. And one day he was like, I want to try this surgery on you, and I cannot find the name of what he did to me. And forgive me for not knowing the name, or forgive me for being stupid enough to not even realize what was happening. I was just like, I just want my body to heal. I want to not feel this way. It was consistently like 2 to 3 years of, like I was saying, like being nauseous, having blood in my urine, the pains, always being lightheaded. I was like, I would like to not feel this way anymore. So what they did was, like when if you're a girl, you know this. I don't know what it's like when men go to, do you guys have like a pap smear kind of thing? I don't know. I've never talked to someone about this, with a guy about this. But for women, if you're watching, you're a woman. And when you go to the gynecologist and they put you on the thing where your feet are up. So that's what they did to me. And what he did was, like, he slid this thing inside of me, and like it popped something inside of my uterus, and like blood came spilling out. And I remember it hurt so bad. It hurt so bad. But he was like, it was like a balloon of bacteria was built up, and it just needed to be popped, if that makes sense. So yeah, he said abstain from sex for like 2 weeks. He gave me these antibiotics, and he also gave me this extra antibiotic. I don't remember the name of it, but he said, take this every time you have sexual intercourse. And that's what I did. And I didn't feel, I remember when I was taking the pills, I felt empty in my gut every time afterwards. Like, it felt like I didn't have to urinate. But the doctor said take it, so I did. So I took that pill every time after intercourse for 2 years, and I would always like constantly get that prescription, always. And then I remember when I was dating this guy, me and the boyfriend I was dating at the time weren't dating anymore. I was dating this guy, and I was always transparent with the person I was dating. I was like, hey, I get frequent UTIs. This is a thing. So if I get up if I get up right after sex, it's not because I didn't enjoy it. It's because like I need to urinate, because I need to flush my system of the extra bacteria, which you should be doing, by the way. After you have intercourse, you should urinate. If you're male or female, urinate right after you have sex. This is something like, they should teach you in sex ed. You should have probably already know this by now. But if you don't, then I'm glad I taught you something new. But yeah, so one day, I just didn't feel right with my system. So I went to the doctor, and I told her about my UTI history. And she was like, you shouldn't be taking these antibiotics like they're candy, because at one point your body's going to build up an immunity to them. And I was like, oh fuck, I didn't know that. No one told me that. So I stopped taking them. And now it's been 3 years, and I haven't had a UTI since. Here are some things that I want to say to those people who, if you're like me, you're always constantly paranoid. Like recently I had a sinus infection, and I thought it was COVID. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna fucking die. But that's the result of reading too much news, consuming too many opinions. I definitely think that you should consult your doctor. I was saying to my friend yesterday, I was like, yo, when's the last time I went to the gynecologist? To make sure that like, everything's cool, everything's working effectively. Firstly, like I said, don't hold your urine. Ever. At all. That's very bad for you. Never force yourself to urinate, because that's just gonna make things worse. And that's what I used to do after sex. I used to like force myself to pee, and that's not a good thing. Your body already knows what it's doing. Another thing is, don't use fragrances. Oh my God, I know that Summer's Eve is like the cool thing, but don't put fragrances down there at all, because your body already has these natural pheromones within them, and you adding fragrances, it's going to throw off your pH balance. Your body already has a natural smell. Okay, if you want to like add some different smells, change your deodorant, or like put on some perfume, don't put scented stuff down there. for men and for women. Okay. Also, when you're cleaning yourself, don't dig inside. Only clean the exterior. Okay. Another thing, when you sweat, when I was working in theme parks, there was this girl who I worked with who was similar to me, where she got frequent UTIs. But for her, it was when she was always constantly sweating. So between sets, between shows, she would change her underwear, you know? So sometimes it's as simple as just changing your underwear. You know, you just have extra bacteria, and that's okay. You know, I go to the gym, I want to say all the time, but I feel like I'm talking shit. But when I go to the gym afterwards, I take a shower. Don't put hot water on yourself. Do not put hot water down there. That's just gonna stir up the bacteria. Put cool or room temperature water when you're bathing yourself. Okay? It's not a very pleasant feeling having frequent UTIs, and it really fucked up my libido. It really fucked up my libido a lot, where it's on top of the trauma, you know, of being in an abusive relationship. I don't want to have sex because I'm scared to have a UTI, but it's okay. Just make sure that you and your partner are safe and clean, you know. Drink lots of water. I used to do cranberry extracts very often. You can find that at CVS, Walgreens, your local health store. Cranberry juice, pure natural cranberry juice, not the one with sugar added, also helps as well. But like I said, please talk to a professional. This is just, all these thoughts are in my opinion and my story, and I remember what it feels like. And it hurts, and it fucking sucks. And it happens to men and to women. Okay? And like I said, if you don't treat it, it can lead to sepsis, it can lead to kidney failure, it can lead to a lot of fucking shit. You know? And I think that's really all I have to say. I had written down notes, but I can't find it. And it also makes me a little worried because also my wallet's in there. So I'm like, where the fuck did I put it? But yeah, just take care of your body. You only have one. And I hope some of these tips help. Because, like, I do not miss that time in my life. I do not miss that time in my life where I'm constantly going to the doctor. My bills are, like, through the roof because I don't know. I hope this really helps someone, though. And even now, like, I feel like sometimes I really can't enjoy sex as much because I'm thinking to myself, God, I hope this doesn't result in a UTI. God, I hope this doesn't result in a UTI, because 7 days on antibiotics doesn't sound very bad, but when you have a history of UTIs for 2 to 3 years, you're like, I don't want to endure that pain again. So please talk to a professional. Please take care of your body. Please don't put fragrances on your body. Use cool water. Drink lots of water. And that's all I have to say. Thank you for allowing me to be so transparent and so open. And I hope that you have a fantastic day. Bye.